Hey there, Writer Rebels. We have made it to the last week of Nanowrimo and everybody should be very, very excited. However, if you aren't finished your Nanowrimo project yet, I've got some great tips on how to get those last few words in. Greetings everyone, it is me, Scarlett Kol, young adult author, YouTuber, and storyteller, and I'm here to talk about writing and publishing, specifically this week, talking about Nanowrimo Week 4. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I hope you would like what you see, and there's a lot of other videos for you to check out. This is the fourth in a series, although all the videos are independent of each other, but if you did want to go back, you could always check out the first week of my Nanowrimo series. If you have been here before and you are a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I really, really appreciate those people who keep coming back week after week after week and leaving all of those fantastic comments. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Anyhow, we are at week 4 of Nanowrimo. There's a lot of you out there that have been working on your manuscripts for a while and are getting really, really close to the end of that project. So if you are one of those people who have finished already or are nearing the end and are just motoring through, then fantastic. Give you a round of applause. That is absolutely awesome. And that's what everybody wants to accomplish in Nanowrimo, to have that feeling of accomplishment that you've done something and you've worked really, really hard on a project, and go you. Anyhow, if you are one of those people that have not finished your project and you are going to be working down to the bitter end, this can get really, really frustrating because you know you are so close to getting those words done, but you still feel very, very far away. You might be stuck in your story and this is causing you some frustration, or you just have lost the love for the project, or various different things. Anyways, you are so close to that finish line. I would hate for you to give up at this point. So I do have some tips today on how you can push through and get those last bits of words in, even if you are stuck on your project or not really sure where to go. I typically find this week either to be awful or to be awesome, because I'm either just totally in the zone or I've completely lost touch with what I'm working on. It can get very, very frustrating, but remember that it is not atypical for this to happen. So if you have fallen out of love with your passion project, then know that you are definitely not alone in this situation. All right, so here are my tips to get a few more words out. If you are a total Nanowrimo purist, you might as well turn this right off, because these are probably going to make your skin crawl. However, all of the things that I'm suggesting, even though they will be additional words, I try not to do words just for words' sake. I remember the first time I was frustrated in the last week of Nanowrimo, and I remember reading an article saying, instead of using the word suddenly, write all of a sudden, because it was 3 extra words. Well, I'm not going to use all of a sudden, and I'm going to edit all of that stuff out. So all of my suggestions are going to be usable words that you would be able to use in your projects, or at least should add value to your project. I'm not just going to give you suggestions to write words just for the sake of words, because really, what's the point in that? We're all trying to strive towards the end of a novel. Hopefully some of us are going to be making author careers out of this, so we want to use our time effectively instead of just throwing words down on a page. If you're gonna do that, you might as well just write your name over and over and over a bunch of times and to hit your 50,000 word goal. But if you are trying to hit it with legitimate words, then this is a way that you can do that. So my first suggestion I won't talk about too long, because I've brought it up I think in a couple of videos now, and that is to write out of chronological order. By writing out of chronological order, you can kickstart yourself into writing more words, because you're going to write a scene that you're very much looking forward to, and hopefully will get through it a lot quicker than... Somebody had to disturb my video, so hello, this is my brand new puppy, but we'll stop talking about that in a minute. Say bye, puppy. Bye, puppy. As I was saying, write out a chronological order, kick yourself in the pants by writing a scene that you were very much looking forward to, and be able to pour those words out instead of sticking in the place where you are currently stuck. I know this is difficult for some people, but I do suggest giving it a try if you're getting to your wit's end and getting towards the end of the week where you still haven't hit your word count. My next suggestion is that you could write your blurb, query, or synopsis. This works in basically 3 ways. 1, you're still writing, so you're getting words down. 2, if you are stuck or frustrated, this is going to boil down your story into the things that are most important. So if you are stuck or frustrated or fallen out of affection with your story, this might be a way to jumpstart that love again, or to help you bring down what is really important. When we're writing a book, it's very easy to get caught in the weeds of all of those different details, and it can get very, very overwhelming that we forget the entire kernel and core of the story of why we wanted to write it. By breaking everything down in your blurb or your query, this is going to allow you to just distill all of that good stuff and maybe figure out exactly where you need to go by remembering where you started and where you want this story to go. And the third thing about this is that you need to write a blurb or query anyway. So unless you're just writing the book for yourself, which is very, very possible, if you plan to self-publish, you are going to need a back cover blurb. So you can always write a draft of it. If you are planning to traditionally publish, you are going to need to write a query to agents or publishing houses to ask them whether they would be interested in publishing your book. So those are things that you're going to have to do. So it's not a waste of words. You might not want to focus in on it quite as much right now, but even when you do write a blurb or you write a query, you are going to polish that query or blurb over time. So even when you do sit down to write one, you're going to write one and you're going to redraft it and redraft it and redraft it. So at least having that first draft done by the time your book is finished is a plus for you because you've already completed that work. It may help motivate you to get back in love with the story or help you figure out what needs to go next in the story, and it might help you get some of those words down. My next suggestion is to explore the possibilities. So sometimes when you're frustrated with a manuscript is because you're really not sure of where something should take you. I had this as a personal problem one time where I really wasn't sure where the end of a subplot was supposed to go. I wanted it to go one way, but it traditionally went another way, and I really wasn't sure how I wanted it to play out. So basically what I ended up doing is I wrote the chapter both ways. So I could see how the story flowed if I went this direction or if I went this direction. It provides a lot of extra words, plus it allows me to explore that in a literary kind of sense rather than just sitting back and talking myself out of it or trying to talk myself into a particular path for that character. It allowed me to let the dialogue go and see where the scene was going to take me. Interestingly enough, in the end, even though this was like some of my favorite scenes I'd ever written, both versions got cut in the final version of the book. So it may seem like it's extra words, but if it helps you discover your story again, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a waste. However, even if you do keep one and just decide to scrap the other, it doesn't mean that there might be snippets or dialogue or description that you could use somewhere else. Similarly to that is you can let your characters go. One of the other things that I've tried before when I've been very frustrated is I've let my characters just go off on a tangent. Let them think whatever they want to think, even if it's way too much exposition than what you really would put into a chapter. Let them ramble on. If they're sad, let them be sad. If they're angry, let them rant. Just let them go and see what comes out of their mouth. So by doing this and immersing yourself into the scene, you can let the character kind of drive where you're going to go with the plot. You will learn a lot about that character, and even though you might scrap the scene entirely, there's probably a lot of pieces that you are going to pull from there to put into your story or to work out the plot going forward. This is also very useful if you don't use it because you can take it as like a deleted scene because it definitely still ties into your story, and you can use it for marketing purposes with your book once it's completed on your website or something like that. You can also play with other characters. Even if you write first person, you could let another character speak and see where they want to go with that. If you are writing a romance and you're having trouble with a particular character, let the paramour speak, even though that's not necessarily the voice in your story. What are they thinking? What are they acting like in that particular situation? The fun part about that is you can definitely polish those scenes up and use them as either a reader magnet, a prequel, or something like that in your marketing later. So it's not a waste of words, and it may help you figure out the rest of your plot or figure out problems that you're having with your characters if they're acting out of character because you haven't really fleshed them out enough yet. And speaking of building on your world, my next suggestion would be to start book 2 or 3 or 4 or wherever you're at. I don't know about you, but when I'm working on a story that I know is going to be a series, I'm already picturing things happening in the other books. So if you've set up your series, you probably already have an idea of where you want things to play out. You've written a really cool scene in book 1 that you know is going to play off of book 2 or book 3 or whatever. take the time to write that scene now. If it's triggering in your brain and you're really stuck with book 1, then just jump into it. Maybe write the first chapter of book 2. It may change, but at least you've got that same feel. The nice thing about that too is it maintains the voice between the 2 books, because there could be definitely a break between you finishing book 1, editing book 1, getting book 1 out, or a deal on book 1 if you're going traditionally published route, and then before you get back to book 2. So if you write some of those scenes up front, they'll probably need some editing because you'll change as an author as you go, but it'll have the same voice and spirit as book 1 because you wrote it at that time. So hopefully one of these suggestions work for you. These are the ones that I will go to if I'm very, very frustrated with a book and I'm trying to get that last bit of word count in. I don't like to spend a lot of time doing things that I know aren't going to be of value to me, or just putting in filler words to hit a goal that I'm working towards. I want to make sure that it is at least either tied to my project, something I can use for my marketing later, or something, even if I do completely throw it out, is going to provide value in allowing me to figure out my plot or figure out my characters or something that's been troubling me. So if you do use any of these suggestions, or if this is something you already do on your own, please leave that in the comments below and let me know how it went. Hopefully you are already getting very, very close to the finish line and you won't need to use any of my techniques. But if you are wanting to use some of those, or if you just find yourself in the future stuck with the plot of your novel, then these are some tactics that you can do to get that well flowing again. And of course, with it being the end of Nanowrimo and the end of November, that means it's the end of my Nanowrimo survival guide. So I will be coming back in December with some other videos. I'm probably going to focus on some goal setting and some things of wrapping up the year and some year in review. So if you are interested in that, make sure you're hitting that subscription bar and the notification bell so they'll let you know every time I put out a new video. However, if you do want to start out 2021 in the best way possible, one thing I'm going to suggest is there is a course that is coming up that is taught by Sarah Cannon from the Heart Breathings YouTube channel, and it is called the HB90 or Heart Breathings 90 course. And basically what this is a quarterly planning course for anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be for writers, but with Sarah Cannon being an author, it is very writerly focused, which I absolutely love. I have taken the HB90 course about 2 years ago, and I have taken other courses with her. I will not push a product that I don't actually believe in, and this is something that I have taken from experience. I use every quarter. I use the methods that she's been teaching for the last couple of years, and it has definitely changed how I organize myself, how I see myself as an author and my work, and how that fits into my life plan and how I organize myself to get my work done. If this is something that you're interested in, I'm going to leave the link in the description box below. This is an affiliate link because I absolutely do believe in this program. However, if you do click the link, it's going to give you a description of everything that's offered in the course. It is a video based and you do get lifetime access, and she's just like super peppy and very, very helpful and super, super uplifting. So if you want to learn with somebody who's going to keep you in a good mood, she is a great resource. Plus, she is always there for her students and allows you access to ask questions and has these live chats so that you can definitely have that interactive experience. It's a really, really great course. If you have any questions for me, you can leave them in the comments below. I will definitely answer about them. Obviously, no pressure if that's not something you want to do, but if you do want to get yourself organized and you are interested in 90-day planning, then this is something that you should probably check out. Okay, so that's all I've got, and hopefully your NaNoWriMo went as wonderful as you hoped it would. If not, you can always check out my other videos, and you can always use these videos when you're working on your other writing projects, because they are not exclusive to NaNoWriMo. They are basically some things that you will find through the life cycle of a writing project, whether that be 4 weeks, 4 months, or 4 years. So I will see you guys all next week, and you have a great Thursday.